rows. Instead of trying to put everybody up here like we did years ago, we're going to actually bring people in by race, and we're going to do it by the order of the ballot.
Oh, no.
Okay, all right, let's go ahead and just bring the candidates up for state senate, then I'll go ahead and explain what's going on. Are there any candidates here running for state senator? Yes or no?
Yes.
Come on up here then, if that's the case. We're looking for Christian Beaver, it looks like, Paul Copenhaver, Spencer Deary, and Bill Webster. So if any of those candidates are here, you're welcome to take the stage.
Does it matter which order?
We don't care. We're going to do it by the order of where you're on the ballot. And I'll explain the rules here in a second, but there's not a lot of rules. We're trying to keep it simple. So, all right. Let's check our clock. We're almost there. Oh, those lights are bright. Okay, everybody ready? Let's get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2022 Park County Candidate Forum. I'm Dave Crooks with WAXI, and I'm privileged to be the moderator of tonight's event. Tonight's forum is designed to give voters in Park County a better understanding of the contested races in this year's primary election for May 3rd. We plan on doing another forum this fall for the general election if there are contested races. Early voting is already underway, and we hope that everyone will take time to vote for the candidates of their choice before 6 p.m. on May 3rd. Our sponsors for tonight include the Park County Chamber of Commerce. Special thanks to the Chamber's Executive Director, Heather Thompson, for her working and organizing tonight's event. So, Heather, thank you very much. Give her a round of applause. Of course, Super Hits 1049 WAXI, and I have egg on my face tonight, folks. For some reason, we're having trouble getting the audio out of the board in the back of the theater, and since the cell signal is always kind of weak, we didn't bring our backup equipment, unfortunately, but we're trying to get a straight shot back to the studio, and we just can't get a good enough audio level. It's too noisy for whatever the problem is on the board, and I am extremely regretful that we didn't have a backup plan, and I'm sorry that it won't be on the radio tonight. But the good news is John Allen Martin is here with Park Without Reverse. So if you've got friends at home that were planning on tuning in the radio for this, if they do have a Facebook account, if they go to Park Without Reverse, he's going to do his best to keep streaming it. Cross our fingers that we keep a good cell phone signal, right, John? So that's always our challenge, which, by the way, you state legislators, we're probably going to talk about that issue because we'd all like better cell phone and internet coverage in Park County. Can we get a big applause for that? I want to give special thanks to a couple of local sponsors who paid for the venue tonight. They include Park County REMC and the Rockville IGA. First of all, I'm a former state legislator, had the privilege to serve for 12 years, but I've been retired for a while, and I plan to stay that way. But I do want to take a moment to thank everyone who has stepped up in government to serve, no matter what position you currently are in or the one that you're attempting to win. And it's a tough environment right now, not only across the state and across the nation when it comes to people trying to serve in public service. So either if you're serving now or you want to serve, let's give them all a round of applause for putting their neck out and putting their name on the ballot. Mary is my timer tonight, okay? So Mary's done this with me before, so we appreciate her being here tonight. And the way we're going to do this to try to keep it as fair and balanced as possible, each candidate will get a 2-minute opening message to say whatever you want. The order of those speaking will be based on the position you are on the ballot. So we have, of course, all Republican candidates that are up here tonight because I think the Democrats only have a U.S. representative. Are any of those 3 candidates running for Congress on the Democratic ticket here? Okay, if they do show up, we'll give them some time at the end of our local candidates. But we do Want to try to give all the contested candidates some time, and we've got several that are running, so we don't want to be here all night. We're also going to keep a close eye on the weather. We have some threatening weather moving in. Hopefully that won't cause havoc with our event, but if we do get any kind of weather warnings, we'll let you know. And the emergency management director wanted to make sure that we had a plan for that. If we would get some severe weather, we'll be trying to put people in the bathrooms and also this area here. But let's just hope that doesn't happen, okay? Because it'll be a crowded bathroom for sure. We're going to give everybody a chance to do a 2-minute open. We're going to ask some basic questions, which I'll probably do, but if you've got a question that you want to ask, especially the candidates running for state senator, who's got the little 3x5 index cards right now? Do you have those, Candy? See Candy Cook from the radio station. You can raise your hand, send a written question up, and we'll try to use it. We won't guarantee every question will get used, but we'll do our best. All right, any questions? Are we ready to go? The concession stand will remain open, so if you want to use that, feel free to take advantage of it. And what we'll do right now, candidates, when you do talk into this microphone, you're going to have to kind of eat it to make sure that it picks up okay. So don't be bashful. I'm going to have a little number over here by my table. When you see the 1 come up, you've got a minute left. When you see the star come up, show them the star right there. You've got 30 seconds left. And then ring the bell. All right, you got to wrap it up when you ring the bell. So you might get an extra 5 or 10 seconds, but to try to give everybody equal time, we'll do our best to cut you off after those time limits. Any questions, guys? Gals? All right, I think we're ready to go. Let's start with the 4 candidates who are vying to replace Senator Phil Boots in the Indiana State House. And we'll start with Christian Beaver from West Lafayette. Christian? Thank you. Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
The floor is yours. Mary, hit the timer. We're good to go.
During my youth, I made 2 mission trips to Thailand, and I could speak for hours about the misery that I saw. I spent days working in leper colonies with people living in squalor, some so disfigured from their disease that some of our team members were physically ill from what they saw. I spent days working in orphanages with children living in abject poverty, desperate to be held and hugged. On one occasion, I brought a backpack full of small toys that I bought for about $1 each. And for many of the children who received one, it was the only earthly possession they'd ever had. I returned home from those 2 trips to Thailand a changed person. I was thankful to my Christian faith that led me there. I was more sensitive to the plight of people left behind. And I was more appreciative of an America that would help me earn a college degree, own a home, raise a family, and build a business. We live in a country and a state deeply divided between urban and rural, minority and white, the educated and the non. And part of what divides us is that some parts of America have been left behind. Rural Indiana without broadband, without cell service, entire counties with no hospitals, small towns deserted, and communities where once thriving factories stood that are no more. If we are again going to be a country with a common vision and a common purpose, we need to bridge this divide. And that's why I'm running for the Indiana State Senate. All children deserve access to schools that work, where all who graduate are able to get a good job or go to college, where all who live in rural Indiana have access to quality health care, affordable child care, modern technology, and drug-free communities that thrive. It's the kind of Indiana I want. It's the kind of Indiana we all want. I'm Christian Beaver. I'm running for the Indiana State Senate, and I look forward to earning your support on May 3rd. Thank you.
A minute 56. Impressive. Okay, thank you very much. Have a seat for now, and we'll go ahead and go to one of your other opponents. We have Paula Kuppenhaver from Covington here. Paula, you're welcome to take the stage. And it looks like my idea for the 1 and the star won't work. It's hard to see us over here. So,
we're not going to be looking at you.
Okay, I understand. Look at them. They're the ones that count. I can't vote because I don't live in this county. But take it away, Paula.
My name is Paula Kuppenhaver. I am currently the Fountain County Clerk. I've been clerk since 2016. I'm not looking for a job. I was just merely educating myself as to how our government functioned. I am the mother of 5, and really I feel like I'm just talking to myself because all the lights are so bright I can't see anything. But so the reason I am running for State Senate District 23 is because I've been studying the Constitution, and not only have I been studying the Constitution, but I've been teaching it. Because if we don't know what our freedoms are, if we don't know what our Constitution says, then how can we defend our liberties? So since I've been studying the Constitution, I have learned what the government's responsibilities are. But more importantly, I have learned what they are not. And so in the process of being Fountain County Clerk, and like I said, I got my job by simply volunteering to get involved in an election. Worked the polls. I didn't even know that you got paid to be a poll worker. And so I was just volunteering my time and my duty. So in the process of getting involved with working the elections and even helping conservative candidates to get on the ballot, I went to the courthouse and I just said, I don't know why, but this kind of thing gets me all excited inside. And they offered me a job. I hired in as voter registration clerk. I worked for 3 months, and our county clerk resigned due to health issues, and I caucused in as Fountain County Clerk since 2016. And so again, the reason I'm running for our district, and if I thought one of my opponents would represent me in our district the way we need representation, I would gracefully bow out and get behind one of my opponents. But I am running to represent us, to stand for truth and righteousness, and to serve you. So thank you for coming tonight, and I look forward to meeting you and answering your questions.
Thank you, Paula. Whoa. Thanks, Paula. Next in line will be Spencer R. Deary. He is from West Lafayette. Spencer, welcome to the forum. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for being here, especially on a rainy night. I look forward to meeting more of you this evening afterwards. So as has been said, my name is Spencer Deary. I'll tell you a little about myself. I am a husband to my wife Julia of 15 years. I'm a father to 3 children in public schools. I'm a Sunday school teacher, a youth basketball coach, and I am the Deputy Chief of Staff to Mitch Daniels at Purdue University. For the last over a decade, I've been a part of the leadership team of Purdue that's helped to make that university one of the most innovative in the country and a major driver of jobs in our state. And for the last 9 or so, I've been mentored by our former governor, who is someone who, without exaggeration, is on a list of the world's 50th greatest leaders. And I would never put myself at that level, but I've learned a thing or two about effective conservative leadership and how to get things done that's prepared me to be able to run and be an effective legislator. You have a lot of good choices here, and frankly, in my view, the policy differences between each of us tonight are not going to be that different. What really is going to make the difference is the leadership and the qualifications and the experiences that we bring to the job that's going to be able to help us to be able to better represent each of you and to get things done. As I've been running for the first time ever, never ran before, but I've been enthusiastic by the number of people who have signed on and said, yes, you're the person that can get this done. I've been endorsed by Indiana Right to Life. I've been the only candidate to receive the Indiana Farm Bureau endorsement, as well as the Liberty Group Americans for Prosperity. But really, at the end of the day, none of that really matters. What matters is the opinions of all of you. And so you have my commitment that every day, as a state senator, as I will be asking myself in every session with every vote, how can I better represent the people of rural Indiana and the people of District 23? And what moves us forward, what helps us, and that's going to be my question. And my belief is that government should generally stay out of the way and let people live their lives. But the next sentence of that is we still need a government, and that government should be effective and competent and based in doing things, and that's what I aim to do is both of those. Thank you. Again, my name is Spencer Deary.
Thank you. Our next and final candidate for state senate is Bill Webster from Rockville. Bill?
Yeah, Bill Webster, lifelong resident of Park County. Hello, fellow voters. It is hard to see everybody up here. I reside in Rockville with my wife, Shanna, of 24 years. I've lived most of my life in southern Park County. I grew up here. I've served this community my entire adult life as a volunteer firefighter at Rosedale for over 20 years. Spent most of those years in leadership. I was our county Salvation Army chair for several years. I served on planning and zoning and the Board of Zoning Appeals for many years. So I've served the community for, like I said, the majority of my life. I've served this community, and I want to continue to do that. The reason I'm running for this position is especially the last several years, our government concerns me, especially our federal government. Our state General Assembly, at times, they're not paying enough attention to the federal government and pushing back. And we have to have state legislators that will push back. And at times, in the last couple of years, even our own General Assembly, especially our Senate caucus, they're not doing enough for us. Where were they at? With the transgender. They did finally pass it, but that bill was weakened tremendously before it finally passed out of the House and Senate. And then, of course, now they're saying they will go back and veto-proof it, but it was weak. And many of the bills that come through the Senate was weak. As a senator, if you will allow me that honor, I will fight for you. I will fight for your families. I will fight for your children. I will fight for your grandchildren, my grandchildren. That's what's important. Our medical freedoms, things that with our government have become very alarming. I'm Bill Webster, and I ask for your vote on May 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. The number one charge of the General Assembly, obviously, is state education, and I want to give each of you at least a minute to give us your views on public education and what you will do to make schools stronger in the state of Indiana. And let's go in reverse order. Bill Webster, let's let you answer that question. 1 minute to talk about your stance on public education and what you would do to make Indiana schools better, stronger.
So my stance on public education is, we always have to, do the best for our children that we can. And in regards to the public education, the first thing that I would like to see our General Assembly do is push the federal government to just do away with the Department of Federal Education. We don't need that. We don't need that oversight from the federal government. We could take that money from the federal government and split that to the states and do a better job with our own local. In regards to our own General Assembly, the closer we can get, to our own communities and our own school boards, that's important. And I often say this, I say this as a county chair even, the local school board elections are the most important races in this county, in every county in this state. So if you're thinking about running for school board, please do. Those are very important positions.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Spencer Geary, same question to you. Number one charge of your state legislature is to fund our schools. What would you do to make our public schools stronger?
Sure. Well, first let me just say I'm the product of an elementary school principal for 40 years and another elementary school teacher, and I think I may be one of the only candidates, if not the only candidate, with kids in public schools. So I'm really a big believer in public schools, and they have to be adequately funded, and we have to give teachers the ability to be the professionals that they are. With that said, the purpose of public education, if you read back to some of the early advocates of public education, our founders, such as Thomas Jefferson, the purpose was to prepare individuals to become free citizens and to self-govern. And so we have to make sure that our schools are preparing our children to be tomorrow's leaders and to be tomorrow's free citizens. Make sure they're learning about our republic, about our Constitution, and learning the skills that they need to be self-sufficient. And there's some danger out there that, and in growing pressure, not so much in parts of like these, but in other parts where there are some that don't view that as the purpose of education. So I think we need to get back to that.
Thank you, Spencer. Paula Copenhagen, same question to you regarding the state's public education. What would you do to make public ed stronger?
So I did homeschool my kids, but I had a wonderful experience with our public school education for my education. I believe it's the parents' rights, the parents' responsibility to educate our children. I want the teachers to be able to teach and our children to be able to be children. As a county clerk, I have worked firsthand with the legislation committee, and I have learned that a lot of times our legislatures enact laws and they don't even talk to the people that it directly affects. So as a state senator, I would reach out to the teachers personally, not just the associations, but to them personally and ask how we can better serve them, whether more legislation needs to be enacted or where we need to have less legislation.
Thank you very much. And finally, Christian Beaver, same question regarding public education.
My degree is elementary education. I have family members who are public school educators. I have spoken with many educators in this district and almost every school superintendent in this district. Paula and Bill are both correct. Ultimately, our children's education is our responsibility as the parents, and parental and family and community involvement in the school boards is the key to success. Across the state, we are seeing better school performance where there's greater community involvement. And there's a major movement across our nation right now where a lot of people are looking to get more and more involved in school boards, and we need more of that. As far as our state legislature is concerned, we need to let teachers teach, and we can hold them accountable. We can make sure they're teaching what we want them to teach, that they're teaching academics and not racially charged or other divisive curriculum. But that is our responsibility. The buck stops with us.
And stay put, we'll ask you a question and we'll go in the reverse order again. I brought this up before we started, but obviously Park County, like many rural counties throughout the state of Indiana, are still struggling to get dependable and consistent cell phone coverage and even internet. Although I do want to applaud Bloomingdale Home Telephone. They've done a great job. I just wish they would be available. Thank you, countywide. But it's still a struggle if you're trying to do commerce, even from some of the smallest communities in places like Park County, if you don't have a dependable internet connection or a good cell phone signal. If you're elected the next state senator, what would you do in the state legislature to try to convince not only the private carriers to expand their footprint, but is there anything that the state can do to give them incentives, perhaps, to make it easier to have more cell coverage and more internet available for every Hoosier?
Absolutely. In one word, push. I've spoken with county commissioners and county councilmen in each of the counties in this district, especially the ones where there is insufficient coverage. And what they're being told by members of our legislature is nothing to be proud of. I heard one commissioner from a county told me that his legislator told him, well, sometimes, you just got to take one for the team. And that is not the kind of attitude that our state needs to be having towards rural counties and the counties that really make the state great and make it what it is. So there are opportunities that are out there. There are ideas to be had. There are things that we can do. We just have to have people who understand the concept of the squeaky wheel getting the grease in our state legislature.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Paula, you're up next. Paula, same question to you. What can you do to help make expanded cell coverage available in Park County as well as faster speed internet?
So I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. If Bloomingdale can do it, then I think there is a lot to be said for private industry to do it as well. So I would research first to see what our options are, what the best availability is, what the best approach would be. I know in Fountain County, we are currently having the push to have, Titmon REMC. They are already pushing their way through there. And so I think it can be done. And if there is something that the legislature can do to assist, to make it happen, then I will definitely fight for that.
Thank you. Spencer Deary, you're up next for a minute for the same question regarding internet and cellular coverage.
We are at the point where we were 100 or so years ago, where in order to have economic growth, you needed electricity. It's the same way today with broadband and Wi-Fi. And so if we don't fix this soon, we're deserting our rural communities just like they would have been deserted had we not fixed that issue. The purpose of government is to do what can't be done in the private sector. And a lot of gains have been made, but it's been lagging because it's not making financial sense for some of these private companies. So that is where the government needs to step in. And we may need to spend some money. I don't like doing that as a conservative, but if you're not willing to do this for our rural communities, then what are you going to spend money on? And so I believe that we need what's called a loan fund that puts a pot of money, a large pot of money, into that rural communities can borrow at a very low rate in order to be able to help get that, not only that last mile, but we need to get that last acre for our farmers whose tractors and who the future of precision agriculture requires the ability to be able to connect to the internet. And so we have to be able to push this forward. It's something we need to do.
Thank you, Spencer. And same question for you, Mr. Webster.
Yeah, so this question hits home close to me. We lived out in the rural area for years, and internet was an issue. And when I changed jobs years ago, I needed internet to office from home. So, that was something high on our priority list when we were looking for a home. Kudos to Bloomingdale Telephone. I love that business. That's where we have internet, and outages are minimal. So to answer the question is, with government, we have to always be careful because, it goes along with I'm here from the government and I'm here to help, right? So regulations, first of all, as a legislator, in looking at issues like this, I want to know, is there regulations that's slowing down the Bloomingdale telephones of the state and, of Park County? So I want to check regulations and see if that's a way we can help. And then through loan funding, that's also another way that we can support the businesses that are putting in internet.
Okay, Bill, stay put. We've got a final question. Let's pretend like you won the primary. Let's pretend like you won the general election and you're the next state senator to replace Senator Boots. You go to legislative services to meet with lawyers to figure out legislation. What is the very first piece of legislation that you would draft that you would put your name on that would be your first introduced legislation?
So I'm not necessarily my desire to go to the General Assembly and the Senate is not necessarily to have more legislation and put my name on things. They just passed 175 new laws when session was over this year. So there's plenty of laws out there. Some of the things that I'm going to watch out for, though, is medical freedom and where we're at on that, because our General Assembly the last couple of years have not done a very good job on that. In regards to vaccines and stuff, enforcing through businesses. That's an issue that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on, and I'm certainly going to keep an eye on our children in the schools with the CRT and the transgender issues. We don't need boys in the girls' locker rooms. We don't need boys in the girls' bathrooms. That stuff that's insanity, and it has to stop. Those are some of the things that I'm going to be paying very close attention to.
Thank you. And Spencer Deary, that's the same question for you. What would be the first piece of legislation that you would draft and take to the clerk's office on your first day at the legislature?
Well, I won't say that it would be just my effort, but one of the most important things that a legislator in the General Assembly does is to pass a budget, to decide what it is that we're going to do with our taxpayer dollars. And the first question is I don't believe that you should take money from any free citizen and apply it to something that isn't going to accomplish what you're aiming to. That just makes you that much less free. So the first thing is to find a budget that, one, focuses on the priorities and on the things that are what government should be focusing on. I just mentioned the failure of the private sector to advance broadband internet, to make sure that our schools are adequately funded, and to make sure that our infrastructure is adequately funded in order to be able to allow the private sector to bloom and flourish without the heavy hand of government. So the first thing that I would do is not any bill or law, but just to fight for a budget that makes sense and that respects your tax dollars and allows us to continue to grow, or for those places that aren't growing, to be able to have economic growth.
Thank you. Paula, you're up next. 60 seconds. What would be your first piece of proposed legislation as a state senator?
So currently, it is a crime. You would be a criminal if you gave pornographic material to our children on the street. But in the name of education, if a teacher or somebody within the school system hands our children pornographic material, it is acceptable. Well, that's not acceptable. We have an obscenity exemption that needs to be done away with. Our children are our most precious asset. So as state legislator, that will be something that I will stand up for and fight for our children.
And Christian Beaver, same question to you.
As a state senator, sometimes the most important bill is the one that you stopped. So it's not always what is the law that you got passed, but what are the lines that you held? What are the protections that you put in place to keep the wrong stuff from getting through? The most important thing that I think that we need to do right now as a state is to look at our budget and make sure that we have a budget that is adequate for public school funding and public safety, especially in rural counties. There's a lot of money that's out there and it's getting thrown around. We have a lot in our surplus, which is great. I love having money in the bank, but you have to pay your bills. We have needs throughout our state that need tending to. So revisiting the budget and every part of it would be my number one priority in getting in the legislature.
All right, Christian, stay put. To wrap it up, each of you will get a 60-second close to say whatever you want. So you have a minute to wrap it up.
I've logged almost 10,000 miles on my truck since October 1st, traveling throughout this district, speaking with elected officials, party leaders, business owners throughout the district. My wife put it like this, that I've come to think of a lot of the people in this district almost as family. That sounds so cliche, I'm sorry, but I've gotten really close with a lot of people in this district. I care deeply about it. You'll see more of me.
Thank you. And again, that was Christian Beaver from West Lafayette, Republican candidate for State Senator District 23. Now this is Paula, and again, pardon me, is it Copenhagen? I want you to get that right. Copenhagen. Thank you. Okay. And please make that clear to the audience, okay? You're up for a minute.
So I used to think that it was God, family, and country. When I started studying our Constitution and teaching it, I learned that it should be God, country, then family. Because without God, we don't really have anything. Without our country, if we don't have a duty to our country, then we don't have a country to raise our family in. So I will always put God first, like I always have for the last however many years I've been a believer. I will put our country first and a duty to our country and to our state, to our community, to represent us, and then our families, like I said. So I am asking for your support, and I am real. I'm available if you have questions. My phone number is on my website, and you can call me, and I will answer. If I don't, leave a message. I'll call you back because you do get a lot of robocalls. And so, but I am asking for your support and your vote on May 3rd. And again, my name is Paula Copenhagen, and I'm running for Senate District 23. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Next is Spencer R. Deary from West Lafayette to wrap up.
So I spent a lot of time in my employment around young people, and I've seen that for many in the next generation, just like much of the country, it's drifting left. And I don't think Indiana's quite there yet, but it could happen. And it will happen if we don't provide a strong conservative alternative to what the left is peddling out there. And we do that by creating and launching a new generation of conservative leaders, not just conservative politicians, but conservative leaders who know how and who are committed and ready to go forward to stand and advance the conservative movement. As your state senator, you have my commitment that I will always tell you the truth. You will always be able to reach me. I will always be available to listen. We may not always agree, and I'll tell you when we don't, but we're going to be able to talk eye to eye and understand each other and what issues are there. I hope you'll give me your vote. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Spencer Deary, thank you very much. And Bill Webster, you get the final minute in the State Senate forum portion.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for allowing this tonight, and thank all of you for coming and being an informed citizen and getting involved. As I stated when I opened it, and I know most of you here, I believe, I've lived in this county my entire life. Nobody knows this county that's sitting on this stage better than I do, or the needs of the county, and nobody will fight and protect this county in the Senate more than I would. I ask for your vote. Ask for your support helping our campaign. Website is webstersenate.com. And I appreciate all of you being here tonight. I really do. Thank you.
Let's hear it for all the candidates tonight. All the 4 candidates running to replace Phil Boots, thank you again for being in Park County tonight, and good luck and safe travels as you continue the rest of the cycle. So, okay? And you all get a free ink pen if you want, so here, have one of these. So, Thank you. All right, next we're going to go with clerk of the circuit court. So if we can get the two candidates to come on stage, that would be Nicole Collins and Henry Harper. So come on down. You're the next contestant on the candidate is right, I guess, or whatever. And then after that, I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, the next order would be county auditor, but both candidates are not going to be here tonight. One is sick and one decided not to show up. And then we'll go to sheriff after that. So first of all, let's start with Nicole Collins. You get to start first, being at the top of the ticket for clerk of the circuit court. Welcome to our forum.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Collins, and I'm running for the Park County Circuit Court Clerk. I'm a lifelong resident of Park County. I'm the daughter of David and Stephanie Blair of rural Roseville. I now live in the Belmore area with my husband Travis, son of Burke and Betty, and our two children, Bentley and Landry. I graduated from Riverton Park High School in 2005. In 2009, I graduated from Indiana State University with a Bachelor's of Science. I've worked in the school system for 4 years, and I've also volunteered as a 4-H leader. I have worked a total of 8 years in Park County government, with over 7 of these years being in the clerk's office. During the fall of 2013, I was hired into the clerk's office as a small claims deputy under Diana Hazlett, former clerk. In 2017, I was promoted as first deputy and criminal deputy under Stacy Jeffries, former clerk. While in the clerk's office, I was cross-trained to perform many of the duties in the office. I've seen ever-growing progressions in the clerk's office. In my time there, I've helped adapt and move forward from the computer systems that the clerks use on a daily basis to transition to paper files to electronic files. 2020 was my 4th year helping with the election. During these years, I've assisted in training of the poll workers, early voting, troubleshooting on election day, and running of the public test. I've worked with the election board to help upgrade election equipment and consolidate precincts. In March of 2021, I started working in the auditor's office as first deputy auditor. I have been cross-trained to perform many of the duties in the auditor's office as well. I believe my time in there has helped me better understand the financial systems of the county. I'm confident that my time in these offices have given me the experience and the skill set that the clerk's position requires. If elected, I will run my office in an open and friendly manner to the public. I feel being cross-trained in the clerk's office has helped me develop policies and procedures the office will need. And I'd like to thank you for your time, and I appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Nicole. And the incumbent is Henry A. Harper. So, Henry, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Dave. Hello, my name is Henry Harper. I'm the current clerk of the circuit court. I was cognized in as clerk on March 1st, 2021. In the office, we are responsible for processing all files for criminal cases, civil cases, small claims, child support, marriage, divorce, bonds, any other business that the circuit court handles. We are also responsible for managing the election, maintaining voter records to assure a free and fair election. We must keep records of all the court and election documents and work with the public for any searches of the court records. I have learned a lot over the last 13 plus months and enjoyed the opportunity to serve the public. I am a reliable, detail-oriented, and organized person who has worked hard to put the clerk's office on the best possible footing with the judge and the court staff, as well as the citizens who need our services. As clerk of the circuit court, I have faced many challenges and provided necessary leadership to resolve problems as they arose. I believe my staff has learned along with me and are now a very effective and well-coordinated office. I am a lifelong resident of Park County, graduated from Tucker High School. I graduated from Ivy Tech with an associate's degree in accounting. I worked for over 25 years with the state of Indiana and the Indiana Air National Guard. We're responsible for 3 budgets of approximately $2 million. During my tenure, I had 2 federal audits with the Air National Guard with no findings, which means the audits were perfectly balanced. I have also worked at the Rockville Correctional Facility as payroll and in Family Health and Health Center. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be your clerk.
All right, Henry, stay right there. Nationally, there's a perception that some of our elections are not secure. How can you guarantee the voters of Park County? Do you believe our elections are safe and secure? And is there anything you can do if you remain as clerk to make sure that they stay that way?
I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that everybody has a voter ID card or a state ID to be checked and make sure that they're a valid voter in Park County. We have verified the records, updated and cleaned out voters that have passed away or moved out of the county. So I feel like we have a good standing in Park County for a fair and accurate election.
Okay, thank you. Nicole, you get the same question. What would you do to make sure that elections always have integrity and they're safe and secure?
I make sure that we have the best election equipment available. I go over the laws and legislation that go along with the procedures that we need for on election day and to run the election. I will study those as best as I can and make sure we are following the standards to a T.
And while you're there, let's just go ahead and let you both close. You have 2 minutes to say whatever you want on why you would like to be the next clerk.
Over the years, I worked in the clerk's office. It wasn't something I went to school to do, but it's something I stumbled into. It's something I learned to love. I liked working in the clerk's office. I love the legal side of it, seeing how the criminal court cases are handled and dealt with, see the legislation that's passed down through the county and how it all plays a part. And so the government has worked out well for me and my family. And I think that I would do a great job being your next clerk, and I would appreciate your vote, and I hope that I would be your next clerk.
Thank you. Henry, you get 2 minutes to say whatever you want, why you should be reelected.
Well, I've worked very hard to make sure everything is accurate and balanced. I feel like I've done a good job. I think I can do a good job for the county. With all the 25 years that I worked for the state and worked with the federal, I have a lot of government background that I think is useful and helpful for the clerk's office. I'm learning a lot. I enjoy my job. I'm enjoying learning the election side of it and hoping to be your next clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the sheriff candidates, come on up here. We'll get you ready to go. We have at least 4 that are here tonight, and we'll hear from them shortly. Again, the candidates for county auditor, the incumbent Laura Jean Fisher and the challenger Mary Ann Wood, both give regrets as one is ill and one at the last minute decided not to show. So this is the open seat for the county sheriff's position. Apparently have some questions here that we can consider as well. But we'll start at the top of the ticket as we have 4 candidates on the Republican ballot running for the nomination. And we'll start with 2 minutes from Jason Frazier. Jason, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
And keep that microphone as close as you can, if you would, yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Jason Frazier, and I want to be your next sheriff. I'm in my 24th year as a police officer. I served 3 years as a Clint patrolman, and I've dedicated the last 21 years as Park County deputy. Excuse me. I began working in the K-9 unit soon after I was hired. I remained in the K-9 unit for several years and had 2 great partners. We had many drug arrests and searched for many people. In 2008, I was promoted to patrol sergeant by Sheriff Mike Esslinger. I continued to the rank of patrol sergeant until 2015. And then I was appointed as chief deputy for Sheriff Justin Cole. My current duties include, but are not limited to, being involved in the budget process, writing grants, hiring staff, and scheduling staff. I also oversee our school resource program. And I also oversee the operations of the jail and whatever other tasks assigned by the sheriff. Active in the community. Currently, I'm the vice president of our local coordinating council. I'm the treasurer of the Partnership Park County, and I'm a member of the grant approval board for Park County Community Foundation. I'm also the drug awareness officer for Elks Lodge 2471. Some of my priorities I will address: I will be a working sheriff. I will be fiscally responsible. I will have an open door policy and be accessible to the public. I will continue to house out-of-county inmates to generate extra revenue. And I will maintain a professional, proactive, and community-oriented sheriff's office. I will continue to make our SRO program a priority. I will be aggressive on all crimes, and I will designate deputies to conduct criminal and traffic patrol in problem areas. I will also develop our first animal control program. I want to thank everyone that has supported me in this election. I know the job, and I've worked successfully in the department. If elected, I will work hard to be a great sheriff. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Next up is Robert W. Gregg. Robert, you have 2 minutes, maybe a few more seconds to be fair, so take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rob Gregg, and I want to be your next Park County Sheriff. My path towards this life goal began in middle school when I attended the Indiana Sheriff's Association career camp. I decided then that this would be my vehicle in law enforcement to help others. Following graduation, I was hired by the Park County Sheriff's Department as a dispatcher and jail officer under Sheriff Esslinger. I completed the communications officer training course through the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. After a year there, I entered the military, joined the U.S. Army. I was a military policeman for 3 years and served my country honorably. Upon my discharge, I was hired by the Federal Bureau of Prisons and worked here in Terre Haute. I had a distinguished career there for 30 years. Presently, I'm fortunate enough to be retired. I've been married to my wife, Kim, who is just the best thing ever. For 31 years, I have 2 successful children, and I just welcomed my first grandchild. I've sworn an oath my entire life to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and I still do to this day and firmly believe in it. I will be a constitutional sheriff, and I plan to protect our county from government overreach. A few of my plans for the future being improving the school resource officer program. I think we need to get those guys in classrooms and work on bullying programs and a DARE program, enhance our core security program. And I want to study housing federal inmates, low security federal inmates, and that could bring in a lot of money in for our county. It usually about $30,000 per inmate per year. I think something we need to research is I've made a career out of working in the prison system, and I'm a subject matter expert on that. And I think we can do a lot of good things for the county. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Dan Jones, you're up next. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Dan Jones, and I'm running for sheriff. I'm a Park County native and a family man. I'm not a politician. I'm a 4-year veteran of U.S. Marine Corps, having served as a military police sergeant, and a 32-year veteran, Indiana State Police Commander, where I worked my way up through the ranks from trooper to squad sergeant, first sergeant, and the last 12 and a half years as a lieutenant, meaning I was the district commander of the Putnamville State Police Post, which covers Park County and 5 other counties. I'm also a graduate of Vincennes University, Marine Corps Military Police Academy, Indiana State Police Academy, numerous state police leadership schools, and the FBI National Academy. Excuse me. I am the most qualified candidate on this ballot. My leadership and experience and training are unequaled in this election, and I want to use all of this experience to serve right here in Park County as your next sheriff. If elected, my priorities are: I will bring professionalism, strong leadership, and needed positive change to the Park County Sheriff's Office. I will remove any political influence from policing decisions, period. I will provide fair and impartial service and application of law to everyone, no matter who they are or who they are not. I will protect Park County citizens and our children and make Park County safer by forging a stronger relationship with the community
and by using proactive criminal patrols in all parts of the county. I will ensure that every call is investigated thoroughly. I will foster teamwork also with other law enforcement agencies and support agencies to help reduce crime. I will have a zero tolerance policy concerning all crimes against women and children, and we will aggressively investigate those crimes. I will be a protector of the United States Constitution and the Second Amendment, and I will be a strict fiscal conservative steward of your tax dollars. There will be accountability and transparency in everything I do, and I will always be available to the public. If this is the kind of positive leadership you want, vote for me on May 3rd.
Thank you, Dan. And Randall Nealon, you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself and say whatever you want.
I'm Randall Nealon. I'm running for sheriff in Park County. My entire career has been served in emergency services in Park County. Starting back in 1980 when I graduated from Rockville High School, I attended night classes to take EMT courses and started working at the Park County EMS. There I worked for 9 years. When I left there, I went to the Indiana Department of Corrections, worked for 5 years. While I was there working, I started working at the sheriff's office as a dispatcher at the old jail, where we were also the jail officer. I was also a reserve deputy for 2 years. I became a merit deputy in 1989, and I worked there until 2012, when I had to leave to police myself and correct my health, and I did that. When that task was completed, I wanted to return to public safety, and I did so working through Vigo County Sheriff's Office and their SRO program. I was also volunteering for the Rosedale Town Marshal's Office. I became a part-time officer for the town of Rockville in 2015, and 2016 was appointed chief of police. I've been there for the last 6 years. I've always been involved in the community, working with other agencies and supporting other agencies in our community. Like I said, my entire career has been in Park County Emergency Services, and I'd like to continue that as your next sheriff. Part of that would be to enhance our community policing programs, such as Community Neighborhood Watch. I'd like to get reinstated. I would also like to enhance the school resource officer program. I've had some former students that were in my DARE classes that want to know why we don't have that for their kids. So I would like to get that stuff established back in the schools, and I have plenty of other agenda things that I would like to talk to you about later. Thank you.
Well, stay right there, Randall. We'll give you a chance to do just that. What's the one thing that you would hope to change or improve at the Park County Sheriff's Office if you become the new sheriff next year? You have 1 minute to answer.
I would like to increase grants for equipment, for training, for officers. I would like to work with the schools and the county officials to maybe get a couple of full-time officers that are assigned to the school corporations to better enhance that service. I have already obtained hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of grant money for the town of Rockville, and I'd like to do that same thing for the county.
Thank you. We're going in the reverse order, as you can tell. So Dan Jones, you get a minute to for the same question. What do you hope to change or improve at the Park County Sheriff's Department if you become the new sheriff?
The thing that comes to my mind, number one, is to bring strong leadership and professionalism. That can go into a lot of things. One, I want Park County Sheriff's Office to be a highly respected law enforcement agency. To do that, you have to be professional, look professional, act professional, and serve professionally. And you need strong leadership to do that. And when you do that, you get the respect of the community, and you develop a closer working relationship with the community so that we can reduce crime and satisfaction from the citizens for the job that we do. Nobody knows your community like you do. And when you and I are talking and we're respecting one another and we're sharing information, there's no limit to what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Rob Gregg, you're up next. Same question to you. What would be the changes or improvements you would make to the sheriff's office if you become the new Park County Sheriff?
I think the key, we're limited on tax dollars in this county, and I think a big key is also housing these federal inmates that you get $80 a day per inmate, and equivalent for one inmate 1 year is $30,000. That in turn, you can raise the income levels of the staff at the jail and stop the revolving door of employees from leaving, and possibly also kick money back towards the county, towards other projects we could be using.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Jason Frazier, same question for you.
Well, we've been housing out of county inmates, and we've raised close to $2 million the last 7 years. So Justin's done a good job with that. COVID kind of put a damper on that. But as I stated in my opening statement, animal control is a big thing here. It's needed. Under the last 3 sheriffs, it's been, we have aggressive dogs. It's, well, if you can bring the dog to the jail, we'll take it. But I never liked that answer. So I'm going to come up with some resources and get that problem under control.
Thank you, sir. Actually, Jason, go ahead and stay up there. We're going to go back down the order again, so sorry about that. Here's a question that was submitted that we want to ask. You'll have a minute to respond. How do you plan to enforce the transient merchant's license during the Park County Covered Bridge Festival?
Well, I really didn't know there was a problem with that, but I station 2 or 3 guys in each town during the Bridge Festival. I think we have it well covered now, and I would assign those guys to enforce whatever needs to be enforced. We're willing to work with anybody.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jason, thank you. Rob Gregg, same question to you. How would you plan to enforce the TMLs here when the Bridge Festival occurs?
Well, I think it takes a team to enforce that, and you get together with I think the court offices, the courthouse has officers they are sending out and checking for TMLs, and I think as a county law enforcement agency, we can support them and help bring that income back up.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Dan Jones, same question to you. How would you enforce the transient merchant licenses during the Park County Covered Bridge Festival?
As a state police officer, we cannot enforce a county ordinance, so I'm assuming that this is a county ordinance. So what I would do is I would probably utilize reserve officers to help augment the active full-time deputies so that our manpower still stays strong and we can do the job that we have to do, yet allow those reserve officers who are willing to volunteer their time to help take care of those TML licenses so we can make sure that everyone is compliant.
Thank you, sir. Same question for Randall Nealon.
I actually have enforced that ordinance. When I worked for the Sheriff's Department, we helped develop a form that is like an affidavit to the court, but it goes to the county attorney who files that with the court. And they can pursue it in court just like any other law. That's the only way we can do that.
Okay, stay right there.
Yes, sir.
Here's another submitted question. We have a drug problem across the entire country as well as in places like Park County. Do you have a plan, and what can we do about the drug problems amongst our residents?
It's a team effort, as was said a minute ago. The courts, prosecution, and police. I know that we've had repeat offenders over the years that we keep arresting for the same things. I would like to work with the prosecutor and the court to maybe get some of those people the services that they need. If that's incarceration to keep them or help them get clean, to keep them clean, then we can do that also. But there are other services that are available. I know drugs have affected everyone's family. It's affected mine. But we have to show that tough love sometimes.
Thank you, Randall. Dan Jones, same question to you. Every community is facing drug problems. Do you have a plan to try to reduce the drug offenses here in Park County?
I do, and I agree with treatment. You know, a lot of these people that are drug addicted. I mean, that's not something you can kick any easier than it is to kick cigarette habit if you have one. So I'm all for treatment, but I'm also for enforcement. As I said earlier, the citizens are the eyes and ears. You know what's going on in your community. When I've been out and about in my travels, so many people have talked to me about things that's going on in their neighborhood that want the police to do something about it. So when we're all talking and we get on the same page and we know, where they're at in your community, then we want to come out and work that community. There's a lot of ways to attack the drug problem through enforcement. Undercover drug deals, but they're lengthy and they're time consuming and they require a lot of people. And then what we did on the state police a lot was we used drug interdiction. We go into a community and we start doing just routine traffic enforcement and then looking beyond the traffic stop and trying to take these drug, people that are using and dealing drugs off the street. Then we can, through the courts, handle the part of getting them help.
Thank you, sir. Dan Jones. All right, Rob Gray, you're up next. Same question to you regarding the drug problem in the county. Do you have a plan, and what can we do to reduce the amount of offenders?
First thing, you have to have a plan to address it. Dan, what he touched on is community-oriented policing. You have to get involved with the community, the neighborhoods, and find out where your problems are and where your problem areas are. Once you incarcerate these people, you need to try to get some kind of drug program, and there's taxpayer dollars or grants available to get these guys and stop the recidivism or the repeat offenders.
Thank you, sir. And Jason Frazier, same question for you as well.
Well, as a canine handler, I stated earlier, I had 2 dogs. Nobody was harder on drugs than me. And my first few years, I lock them up, throw away the key. That doesn't work. Dealing with the same people over and over. Then I got acquainted with the drug court program. I don't know if the judge is here, but it seems to work. It allows you to keep your thumb on the person for at least a couple of years till they graduate, and hopefully they do the right thing after that. But it's a combination of things: treatment, enforcement, like everyone else has said.
Thank you. Stay right there. This will be your close, but I'm going to also give you a question, and you can use this as part of your close. But say whatever you want in the final 2 minutes. But the main question I want you to address: what makes you the most qualified person to be the next Park County Sheriff? And then you can add anything else you want in the 2 minutes you have remaining.
Okay. First off, I'd say it's my strong work ethic. I care about the direction of the department. As I've stated, I've been on there 21 years. Did stay there for the money. I care about my fellow employees, care about the citizens of Park County, and I see definitely places I can improve our department. And I also want to say I'm very proud of our guys. If you follow us on Facebook, Waxy, we get the job done. Our guys do a great job. We solve many big cases.
Thank you. Jason Frazier. Rob Gray, you have 2 minutes to say whatever you want, but do tell us why you think you're the most qualified person to be the next Park County Sheriff.
Pursuit of excellence. I've tried to overachieve in everything I've attempted in my life. I have a very compassionate nature. I can be firm but fair. I experienced in 30 years of working in a federal prison. When I retired, I didn't have much faith in humanity. But since then, I volunteered all 3 county food pantries, and it's changed my life. So I feel like my whole life has been to help others and make their lives better. And that's something, regardless if I win this election or not, I'm still going to do what I do and continue to try to help people the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob Gray. And Dan Jones, same question for you. What makes you the most qualified person to be the next sheriff? And you can expand on that and say whatever you want, up to 2 minutes.
Okay, like I stated earlier, I'm a 4-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps, having served as a military police sergeant where I was a leader. I followed that up with about 18 months working at the Putnamville Correctional Facility as a correctional officer, and then a year at the federal prison in Terre Haute. So I have a working knowledge of a correctional facility there. I followed that with 32 years with the Indiana State Police. Again, I worked my way up through the ranks. I spent 20 years out of 32 in line command, between being a road sergeant, an assistant district commander at Terre Haute, and then as the commander at the Putnamville Post for 12 and a half years. That duty there was the big one. It's said to be the most stressful and demanding job on the Indiana State Police. There are 1,280 state troopers in Indiana. There's 14 state police posts, and I ran one of them for over a dozen years. So I can check that box. As far as closing, I can just say this. I spent my entire adult life in uniform, carrying a weapon. It's what I know. And leadership, it's what I know. I'm married. I have 4 kids and 5 grandkids. Every one of them live in this county, and most of those kids are still in school. I have a vested interest in the safety and security of Park County. And if things go to hell in the handbasket, as my dad would say, I'll be the first one to pick up a rifle. I'd appreciate your support.
Thank you, Dan Jones. And Randall Nealon, you have 2 minutes to say whatever you want, but do address why you believe you're the most qualified to be the next sheriff.
Well, I'm the only candidate that has spent his entire career working for Park County Emergency Services. And I've worked in all kinds of emergency services. I even worked with the fire department for a couple of years and decided I didn't like heat and smoke. So law enforcement was a much better choice for me. And I've worked with the sheriff's department for 25 years. I'm the only candidate that was there when the new jail was built. I worked at the old jail when we didn't have many resources. When I was hired, there was only 4 deputies. And we patrolled the county all by ourselves. The only assistance we had back then was troopers like Dan, who would come and back me up sometimes, and some conservation officers. But we took care of problems, and I've taken care of problems for many people in this room. Hopefully, I've done that to your satisfaction. I always try to treat everybody fairly, honestly, and I'm probably the hardest working candidate up here. I've worked days, nights, weekends in the last 6 years, holidays. I do what it takes to get the job done, and I'll do that for you as sheriff. So I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Jason Frazier, Rob Gregg, Dan Jones, Randall Nealon, these are your 4 candidates running for the primary nomination. Gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight, and most importantly, thank you for your commitment to public service and keeping us safe. Let's give them a big round of applause. All right, county council members, we have 2 running in the District 2 spot, so bring up Rick Patton, the incumbent, as well as Austin Swain, the challenger. So if you 2 would make it up here, we're going to give you a few minutes to introduce yourself to the various folks in attendance. The Sentinel wants me to remind all the candidates, if you'll stick around when we wrap this up, they want to get some pictures. So stick around for a chance for some free pictures in the newspaper. So again, this is for County Council District 2. I'm sorry, sir. Are you Rick or Austin?
Austin.
Okay. Is Rick here tonight? Rick Patton, the incumbent? Okay. So, well, Austin, the show is yours. You have 2 minutes to say whatever you want on why you would be the best person to be the next county councilman in District 2. Is that working?
Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go.
All right, my name is Austin Swain, running for County Council, District 2. Lifelong resident of Park County. Been on the fire department down in Mecca since 2010. Been an officer down there and in a management position on the board since 2013. 2018, I was elected to Wabash Township Board of Trustee Board. Done that for 4 years now. Learned quite a bit about municipal budgets there, and also being on board with the fire department, learned a lot about budgets there as well. Looking forward to bringing that knowledge forward to the county council. There seems to be some budget issues there lately, been in the news and passed around online. I probably like keeping things short, sweet. So that's going to be my introduction. I just want to help you guys in the county. That's pretty much what I live for anymore. And that's pretty much it. I really think we need to do more on the council, especially with budgets. And I think there's been a lot of lack of communication among different county departments as well. I think that's something that also needs addressed.
Okay. And Austin, since your opponent is not here tonight, I guess my next question would simply be, what would be your number one goal as a county councilman if you are elected?
Well, find more money for grants. Try to work with everyone. I've seen Jim Meese was here earlier. I'd love to work with the commissioners. I think the county could definitely find funds to create a county industrial park to try to get more jobs in here, get more people work in this county, pay fuel taxes in this county, so we have more funds for roads. I know broadband's been brought up. I know there's a few projects going on with that. Bloomdale Telephone, I heard, is doing a really good job. And I'd like to see that increase too, because since the pandemic, it seems like it's more and more of a national trend. People working from home, and I'll tell you what, I go to the tavern every couple of weeks, and every night I'm down there, there is always someone from the Indianapolis area down there, and half of them are looking at buying homes or something out here in this county.
Okay. All right, and let's just let you close. You've got a minute to say whatever you want on why you should be the next nominee for the county council seat in District 2.
Well, I probably am one of the hardest workers I've ever met. I mean, I don't mean to boast about myself, but I mean, I typically anymore wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm not in bed till 2 in the morning dealing with fire department issues or whatever else I can find just to keep busy. And I don't care if people call me at 3 in the morning to ask me something. I answer the phone. My phone's on, my cell phone number's on my Facebook. So just go ahead and call me anytime you need something and I'll answer. If I don't have cell service.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I can relate. I understand. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here tonight. That is Austin Swain.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. It's time to bring up the two candidates for town clerk treasurer in the community of Rockville. So Brandy Asher and Norrin Kammer, come on up here, and we'll have a few minutes to hear from both of you. Brandy is the incumbent, and Norm is the challenger. So welcome. And Brandy, since you're listed first on the ballot, you have 2 minutes to address the audience and say whatever you want.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, and welcome. My name is Brandy Asher. I'm running for the re-election to the office of the town clerk treasurer. I'm married to Shane Asher. We have 2 wonderful children, Libby and Bradley, as well as 2 beautiful grandchildren, Brindley and Blake. I was elected clerk treasurer in 2018 and began my term in January of 2019. Within my first term in office, I've been successful in the reduction of small claims on behalf of the town, completed all closeout documents required for the Howard Avenue project, the completion of a wastewater project, as well as securing funds for a first and second call of community crossings grants for 2019 when we begin paving our local streets. I've been instrumental in obtaining grants for safety equipment for our town, and that benefits the members of our community, as well as a grant to promote infrastructure. Because of my knowledge in government, I've been able to improve the processing procedures by working with a town software programmer to reduce the amount of manual entry and reduce errors that have been brought and have brought all of our records up to date and current and correct for all employees. The town currently has 5 ongoing projects, and I feel it's important to see the financial portion through each of them. For nearly 20 years, a new clerk treasurer has been elected every election. My opinion is change is good, but in many cases, however, I have not seen the benefit to the town the fiscal officer change every election. I would like to read the following quote. Success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Constant hard work leads to success. With that being said, I feel that the town would greatly benefit from some consistency to the office of clerk treasurer, and I would love to serve a second term for the citizens of Rockville. I respectfully ask for your vote for re-election to the town of Rockville clerk treasurer. I appreciate the community's support and will continue to dedicate my knowledge and emphasize success within the town. Thank you, Brandy Asher, Rockville Town Clerk Treasurer.
All right, thank you very much, Brandy. And Am I getting your last name right? Cameron, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
All right, Norm, you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself and to say whatever you would like tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Norm Cameron, Republican candidate for Rockville Clerk Treasurer. And I want to thank the Park County Chamber of Commerce for inviting all of us here this evening. I'm running because I firmly believe that the best input for the local citizen is through local government. I have 4 principles, 4 that I have in this campaign. First and foremost, respect. And that respect needs to be for every employee that works there, every visitor, and especially for every citizen. Second, accountability to the citizens of Rockville, as every government official should do. Third, transparency. If elected as the Rockville Clerk Treasurer, I will act openly and with honesty, providing leadership that is fair and ethical. Lastly, training. In order to serve the best of my ability, I will require that I and the Clerk Treasurer staff take the latest State Board of Accounts principles and adhere to those. And finally, I will require that everyone in the office attend training offered by the Indiana League of Municipal Clerk Treasurers to be sure that they're up to date on all the latest techniques. And finally, I will bring you my 12 years of experience on the Rockville Town Council and 7 years as the president as budget preparation to the Clerk Treasurer's office. I thank you for your support and appreciate your vote on May 3rd.
Norm, stay right there. We'll now go in reverse order. So what is the one thing that you would hope to change or improve on at the town board office as the clerk?
I think it's important to have the best training that we possibly can to serve the citizens of the town of Rockville. Not only do we have citizens that are in this area, but we have outlying water and electric. The citizens outside this community, they need the best service that we possibly can have, and be sure that all of the information that we obtain is correct each and every day.
Thank you very much. Brandy, you're up next. What is the one thing that you would hope to change or improve on if you were elected to another term as the town clerk?
One thing I will do, I continue to be dedicated and hardworking to the citizens of Rockville. There are, like I said, 5 projects that are currently in effect that we're working on. I think it's important that we keep pushing through to get those projects completed. I learned firsthand that when I started, the Howard Avenue project started many years before I ever became the clerk treasurer. The South Market project is one that started many years ago and still haven't broke ground, but hopefully in 23, we can start moving forward on that project as well. I will continue to learn and obtain the continuing education that's beneficial to the town. I have a great working relationship with the town council, and I feel that that's a positive impact on behalf of all of the citizens for the town of Rockville.
Thank you. And stay right there. You get a close. You get 1 minute now to ask for the vote and to say why you're the best person to continue being the clerk.
That kind of was my closing, I guess. To continue to be hardworking and dedicated. My relationship with the citizens. I've worked in the town of Rockville for several years. Met so many new people. When I became the clerk, I was surprised of the people of the town that I hadn't come across with in paths, whether it be from First Financial Bank. I also worked under the State Farm agent in his office. So I met a lot of wonderful people, but I've continued to meet a lot of more wonderful people in the town of Rockville. This is where we will remain. We've raised our kids, our daughter's now grown and married. We have a son still that's in 8th grade, so he'll be a freshman at Park Heritage. This is where we want to be, and this is the town that we love, and I want to continue to be part of that for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brandy Asher, the incumbent for Town Clerk Treasurer, and Norm Camber, the challenger. You get a minute to close to say whatever you want and why you believe you're the most qualified to be the next clerk.
Thank you. I feel that it's important that as a citizen of this community that we have each and every day an accurate account of what happens within this community. Total transparency should happen across the board. It has been in effect in the state of Indiana, where I retired from for better than 10 years, if not 15 years. It provides accurate information as to how things are occurring and if our town is going in the right direction. As a person who has college education and paralegal studies, I'm familiar with a lot of those laws. And it has become my passion to be sure that we do the right things. They need to be done to be sure that how we can interact and how well the county interacts with us, how well the state interacts with us, and anything of that nature. So I appreciate your vote, and I thank you very much for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm Camber and Brandy Asher. Thank you for being here tonight. Now the 4 candidates for town council member, if they would come up to the stage. We're getting near the end of our forum. Sean Atkinson, Steve Farrington, Chris McCann, and Park Allen Swain. So come on up and you'll have your chance in the bright lights. Thanks for being here tonight. All right, and we'll start at the top of the ticket. So Sean Atkinson, you get the first 2 minutes to say whatever you'd like.
I'm a nervous wreck. Is this thing working? Hello? Okay. All right. My name's Sean Atkinson. I would like to start off by saying that I am not a politician, nor am I coming into this with a background in politics. I'm a husband, a father of 2 girls. I own 2 small businesses here in town. As a potential member of the town board, my main focus will be responsible spending, open communication, manageable growth, and responsible decision making. I believe the residents of Rockville deserve an open, transparent, and responsible board, and I believe communication is a factor in representing our community. As a business owner and coming from a family of small business owners, I understand that many challenges that small businesses can face. I will work to be a problem solver, look forward to bringing my business mentality and fiscal responsibility to the town. To me, it's not about politics or personal agenda. I believe in being open, honest, and imperative. I want to be the voice that you need to be heard. Sorry, slacking here. My wife said not to read this, speak from the heart, and I shouldn't have. I just want to do what's right. We need younger people getting involved. We have no younger people involved. So that's what brought me to this. I've lived in the city. I've lived in small towns. We need growth, but we need to do it responsibly so we can keep our town the size it is, but still maintain growth. Fixing our roads, fixing the town up. And we do play a big role in Park County because we are the heart. So if you elect me, I will be here for you.
Thank you very much, Sean Atkinson. And you are an incumbent, correct? All right, so Steve Farrington. Steve, the microphone is yours for 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Steve Farrington, and I'm a candidate for re-election on the Rockville Town Board. During the past 4-year term, the board has been able to obtain grants in excess of $10 million. These grants were needed to fund many projects. Projects included Howard Avenue, Market Street, several storm and sanitary sewer projects. We've resurfaced over 48,350 feet of Rockville streets. We have scheduled for this year 8 segments of resurfacing. in round one and several additional segments in round two. Our electric grid has had many upgrades. We've had 16 poles replaced, tree trimming has been completed. With the grid upgrades, tree trimming, our outages have decreased by 35%. Outage restoration times have also decreased. We've added a sixth person to the police department, also replaced 2 of their vehicles. Projects for this year include the 41 North Sewer Project, South Market, Jefferson Street, Jackson Voorhees Drainage, Beechwood Park renovation, some water main replacement, Beechwood Park Pavilion painting, fire hydrant replacements. We need a clarifier and a blower at the wastewater treatment plant. Maintenance at the water plant. We're also looking at some charging stations for electric cars. I think you'll all agree Rockville is an outstanding place, and I continue to support this. A lot of these areas have gone untouched for several years, and so it gets to the point about everything needs to be replaced. And we've got to keep moving forward with a positive attitude and try to keep our resources all working. Thank you.
Steve Harrington, thank you very much. Chris McCann, the microphone is yours for 2 minutes.
8 o'clock. Everybody stand up for 30 seconds, please. Stretch out. Stretch out. I'm going to tell you about myself while we're doing this. My legs can't do that for that long. So, let's see. I've been a lifelong resident of Park County, 34 years old. Hope everybody feels good now. Married for 9 years, 3 kids, 2 dogs, which we call kids as well. Graduated from here, went to Vincent's, associate in science, and then once I graduated, I was immediately hired with the sheriff's office, which was fantastic, and that's where I've been ever since. And I hope to stay there, for all people questioning that, because we know it's a question. Why I want to do this? Main reason I've been here forever. I love this town, and I think we need to keep it the way it is. I love the beauty we have, the state park, all the attractions we have, Raccoon Lake. I mean, it all brings people to our town, so I think we need to be able to attract them somehow. That would come with experience being with the town board. I love our school system. I think it's great. My kids go there. One is soon to go in kindergarten. I love the town activities. That's the main thing. I think we need more town activities. And I would love to find a way to do that. I'm also an active member in coaching at softball here in Rockville, have been for a couple of years. And I love what they're doing out there. What else? I feel like I have a personal commitment to this town. I mean, if you don't know me, I've died twice. And I've seen huge appreciation from everybody to help my family and friends, and that I hope that you could vote for me on May 3rd.
Thank you, Chris McCann. And Park Allen Swain. Park, you're up next. 2 minutes to say whatever you want.
Hello. Well, I have three goals that kind of guide my thought process on the town board, and one being the balanced budget. It's something that's critical. You can't spend more than what you have. The other one is minimize debt. Less debt, the better off the town is, less you have to pay various rates that we charge every month. And the third is this infrastructure improvement. And, the balanced budget is pretty simple. You just don't spend more than what you have. The debt minimization, we've had a good run over the last 10 years. We started off, I believe, in 2012 at over $7 million in debt, and we are going to be about $2.8 million at the end of this year. And at the current schedule, we'll be debt free. By 2030, we can keep everything together and not have to take on too much more. Infrastructure is something we're all very proud of on board. We've had some great projects, as all of you know. We've had the Howard Avenue and the South Market's going to break ground. I believe Brandy mentioned 23. Those projects, over $11 million in funds, no debt to the town, which is really nice. Another project has started, hopefully get done by the end of the year. Here is the North Jefferson Street parking lot. Another about a $900,000 project partnership with Park County Economic Redevelopment and the Foundation are helping on that project. And again, no debt. We have $41 sewer project, again with Park County Economic Redevelopment Commission helping us with that. No debt to the town, $1.7 million project. Hopefully break ground here real soon. Another project, a water improvement project that's going to bring some new line in from the well fields out east of town. We anticipate some debt, maybe internal finance is our goal, probably 5 years. We have a stormwater project in Voorhees and Jackson Street that we anticipate around $1 million. No expected debt from that. Hopefully start next year. And there's some more, but I just appreciate your support in the past and hope I have it in the future. Thank you.
Okay, Park, stay right there. We're going to go in reverse order now. Here's a question. You get a minute to answer, but how does the town council involve itself more with residents? How can it be more transparent and accountable to the community in your view?
Well, good question. One service that started here I don't know, it's been over 2 years, but as far as transparency, you can't come to the meeting. We have a service that most of you probably aware, Park Without Reverse, and just a great, you can go on YouTube and watch anything we do. It's all right there. We aren't trying to hide anything, and I wish more people would come to the meetings or come in and ask for information. I'm amazed at the lack of interest in our budget process and why we spend what we spend and where. It just really is amazing. We have very few people that come into the meetings, but again, you can all watch on YouTube. It's really a good product. That's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you. And Chris McCann, you get the same question. How does the town council involve itself more with residents, and how can it be more transparent and accountable to the community?
I'd say be more sociable. I'd say go to events, attend them, communicate with your people, find out what they're missing, what they want, and try to incorporate it the best you can with the resources that we have available. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And Steve Harrington will be next with the same question.
I would like to see more people come to the meetings. We're open. We'll listen to any complaint, any problem. Get your name on the agenda, and you're more than welcome to sit down and talk to us. We're very friendly. There's nothing to be afraid of. We're not going to shoot you when you come in the door.
Well, that's always so reassuring. Sean Atkinson, same question for you as well.
Well, transparency. We have a lot of executive meetings. I don't know a lot about it. I'm still learning. I will continue to learn, but I believe they could be minimized a little bit. Bringing stuff to the table that people actually do want. I don't think it happens as often as most people think it does. And if you have a problem, you come to a meeting and I'm on the board and the president is cool with it, it'll be addressed there. I don't have nothing to hide, and I'll speak about it right then and there myself. I can't speak for anyone else, but I will. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you very much. Actually, Sean, stay up there. Now we're going to go back in reverse order. We're going to wrap up. I'm going to give you a question, but plenty of time to answer this question, plus to let you say anything you want. Let's give you up to 90 seconds. What's your number one priority issue for the community? How would you pay for it, and why should people elect you on the town council?
My number one priority is investing back into our community, whether it be the town's employees getting more. We used to have a lot. Now we have, I think, 8. I don't know how to get all the money yet, but you gotta learn as you go. Nobody knows everything right off the gate. It's just one of those things. So as far as to tell you how I'm going to get the money, I don't know today, but I promise you I'll find the answer. Thank you.
That was Sean Atkinson. Steve Farrington, same question for you. What's your number one priority issue for the town of Brockville? How would you pay for it? And you're welcome to close. Take up to 90 seconds if you want.
How you're going to pay for it is difficult. There are grants available, but just because you ask for a grant doesn't mean you're going to get it. Most times there's a matching grant. You need the money in the bank, and you'll need to have that money. You just can't raise your rates continuously. although our infrastructure does need repair, and everybody wants the lights to work tonight and they want the water to work. I spent 40 years in the public utility business, so I've got a pretty good idea what goes on, why it goes on. And if I'm elected, I'll do my best to serve you in any way I can and make sure that everybody's happy. Sometimes that's hard to do, but I will do my best.
Okay. Thank you, Steve Harrington. Chris McCann, same question for you. Number one priority if you are elected, and how would you pay for it? And feel free to use up to 90 seconds to close on why you would like to be elected to the town board.
I think this is two-pronged, really. Number one is outsourcing. I don't know if everybody knows, but we have outsourced our electrical and our sewer. I feel like we could bring that back somehow. Not really sure, but I'm sure it's something that's been discussed and they're still trying to figure it out. Another one would be keeping businesses. I know everybody's seen businesses come and go, and I feel like that would be a good way to address, or good thing to address, so that we can keep good businesses here. We have several established, and I would actually love to see them stay. So that would be my two. As far as funding them, I just think it's a team effort with the board, and I would love to communicate with them.
Chris McCann, thank you very much. And Mark Swain, you get up to 90 seconds to ask or answer what is your number one priority issue, how would you pay for it, and anything else you'd like to add in your closing.
Well, gosh, number one priority, in the back of my mind, as soon as we get the west side of the square done, we'll have a template to go after the east side of the square and get it redone. The downtown is just a beautiful, beautiful space. Our courthouse is just amazing. We're so lucky to have such a downtown. And yeah, I'd say it'd be the east side of the square. As far as money, you would go out and look at your state and federal grants. It's amazing what's out there. And I have to mention Park County Economic Redevelopment and Cindy Todd. I guess she's under the partnership Park County. Cindy's been a great help to the town to help find sources of funds and just an invaluable resource. And again, amazing, just connecting with all the resources we have. I'm amazed how many times various groups have came together to help with town projects. So I'm kind of getting off track, but just keep doing what we've been doing, basically. We've had a great run. And, we have a lot of projects on the books and some more that quite aren't on the books, but we're looking at it. I hope you decide to re-elect me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark Swain and Chris McCann, Steve Harrington, Sean Atkinson. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. We appreciate it. I believe we've covered every contested race on the Republican ballot, on the Democratic ballot. The only thing I have is 3 candidates for Congress. Did any of those candidates happen to show up here tonight in Rockville? Okay, so they did not, and I'm going to do my best to mention who they are. There are 3 candidates vying for the Democrat nomination: Adam Danair of Shoals, Ray McCormick of Vincennes, and Peter Priest of Terre Haute. The winner of that nomination would take on incumbent Larry Bouchon, who doggone it beat me in 2012. So, you know, I did it once. I won't do it again. So that'll make Candy happy. All right. I think we've had a good event tonight. What do you think? I think it was great to hear from everybody. As we wrap this up, I want to thank the Park County Chamber for stepping up tonight. John Allen Martin, thank you so much for Park Without Reverse for your video coverage tonight. I'm sure your Facebook and YouTube feed will be available for those that missed it. Again, on behalf of the radio station, I'm terribly sorry that our audio connection would not connect tonight, and I have regrets on that. We'll learn from that, and hopefully that won't be an issue this fall. The Sentinel wants to meet the candidates. If there's a candidate still here, why don't you stay up front, and we'll have the Sentinel come down. I'm sure some will stay and answer your questions. On behalf of the Chamber, and of course thanks to Park County REMC and Rockville IGA, appreciate you all being here tonight. Go vote. Get your family and friends to vote. It is important to give your opinion and back the candidates of your choice. Have a safe evening, everyone, and good night.